Amy, let me tell you about a magical place that is so exactly designed to be enclosed space, year-round fun for the whole family that I bet you already know what I'm going to say before I even say the name. Let's say it together on 3. 1, 2, 3. Great Wolf Lodge. You got it, Amy.
My kids loved Great Wolf Lodge when we went. You probably already know that it has a huge indoor water park with a wave pool, lazy river, a bunch of massive water slides. But then your pack can hit the other attractions because, wait, there's more.
Great Wolf Lodge has adventure-packed attractions like Magi Quest, a live-action game kids can play throughout the lodge, plus the Northern Lights Arcade. Spent some quality time there, so your kid who loves the lazy river and your kid who loves fantasy games will both have a great time.
Great Wolf Lodge also offers great dining options and complimentary daily events like nightly dance parties, all under one roof. Unpack the car once and you're settled in to have fun. And with 22 lodges across the country, you're always a short drive away from adventure.
We've both had such great times at Great Wolf Lodge, so bring your pack together at a lodge near you. Learn more at greatwolf.com and strengthen the pack.
Your kids would be better behaved if they went to bed before midnight is not something you need to offer.
What fresh hell?
Laughing in the face of motherhood. Or the grandchildren maybe get chicken nuggets at 6 and the adults eat at 8. With Margaret Abels
and Amy Wilson.
Turkey lasagna is vegetarian.
A podcast that solves today's parenting dilemmas
so you don't have to. Whenever there's conflict, go back to more planning. Hello, everyone, and welcome to What Fresh Hell? Laughing in the Face of Motherhood. This is Margaret.
And this is Amy. And this week we're talking about vacationing with extended family.
If you must.
Right. We always used to say that at the end of, it was like, what's that Chinese fortune cookie thing? It's a little body, so I won't say this.
Yes, in bed.
Yeah, and you say it at the end of every fortune, and it turns into a different fortune. Right, so put if you must at the end of every one of our episode titles. Vacationing with extended family, if you must, but you and I each do it every year, at least once.
At least once. I do it twice a year at least. I probably do it 4 times a year.
Yeah.
Because our vacations tend to be going to visit extended family because we live away from family. So our school breaks, we tend to go see them.
Yeah, we do this every summer with my extended family, which is a large extended family, as I've talked about on this show. Like, we're up to like north of 25 people, which involves like multiple homes and lots of planning. And I really do look forward to it. But I've learned a few things, and our listeners have a few ideas too. So we're going to talk about those.
I'm for it. I think that vacationing with extended family writ large is a great opportunity to like express your values to your kids, which is we love our families and we express that by staying close to them, and we get along with people even when it's difficult. There's plenty chock full of good lessons there.
Sure.
And I think it's actually generally pretty fun.
So I did a fresh take a couple weeks ago with Danielle Bayard Jackson, and it was a book called Fighting for Our Friendships. And as I was getting ready for this episode, I thought back on a conversation we had that basically having the slightly uncomfortable conversation in the short term is way better than rankling resentments in the long term. I mean, that's obvious when you think about it, but the example we talked about in this episode is I kept flaking on a friend when I had a kid with chronic illness who was at home all the time. And I had a friend who didn't have kids, and we'd make plans and I'd cancel at the last second, and I'd make plans and we'd cancel at the last second. And then we kind of grew apart for a couple of years. And now, you know, that phase of my life, that season is behind me, and we're spending more time together. But it affected our friendship for a couple of years because I never took the bull by the horns and said, so look, I know I'm flaking on you. I know it must be frustrating. Here's what's going on. I mean, she knew, but she didn't really get it. Like, hold on. This isn't about you and me. I'm sorry. I'll be back. But this is a tough time right now. And not having that conversation affected our friendship for several years. And why didn't I just have that conversation? So I offer that as, get into this episode, like there are some, you know, bumps in the road that you can probably talk about ahead of time with your immediate family and with your extended family that make this better than just, well, this will probably be terrible again, and not saying anything about it.
I think that's true. And I think the opposite is also true, which is there are a lot of things that are better left unsaid. I was just on or if you try to say everything, it's going to go badly, I think is what I'm trying to say. And I was recently at an extended family wedding, and we were having the kind of brunch afterwards. And someone said jokingly in reference to something that had happened to at the wedding, a rule, which I had never heard before. I believe it's from the recovery community, and it's a 3-part rule. Number 1, does it need to be said? Number 2, does it need to be said right now? And number 3, does it need to be said by you? And I think when traveling with extended family, like, we don't always need to have the conversation of like, Amy, I need to talk to you about how insensitive you are about your behavior that is being seen on this vacation. And I think sometimes the frustration of extended family is that, I say this with love, it's totally fine to talk behind my back. Like, you don't have to bring to me every issue that is in the family. We don't have to work out all of our family issues to gather twice a year as a family. We don't have to hash it out.
No, and you're right. Like, this is not the time to try out that new boundary setting language you saw on Instagram last week, right? With your sister-in-law. It's not. But on the other hand, like, if you know that your kids have a bedtime,
yes,
and your sister's kids don't, and you're in the same house, rather than everybody like crackling with why are they like this, it might be better to kind of talk about that ahead of time. Like, hey, so you know, our kids have different bedtimes. How do you think we should handle it? Have an open-ended conversation about it. So that both things can be true.
And like, hey, for us to have a good time, we need X, Y, and Z to happen. And so how does that work? But that does not extend to, Amy, I have noticed that your husband is terrible. Like, that conversation does not need to be. By the way, I love Amy's husband, but I'm using this as an example. Like, we need to have the right conversations that are helpful and not have the conversations that are, why don't you ever discipline your children? Like, it's a little bit of a balance between what conversations we do and don't want to have.
Well, I guess I would argue that having the right conversations ahead of time can, in some cases, make it unnecessary to have those unpleasant, snippy conversations in the moment by clarifying ahead of time.
Yes, I think that's probably true. And I think that in the long term, I have learned that your opinion about someone else's lifestyle, parenting, or overall choices is fundamentally not welcome. Speak about your own needs. Don't ever speak about other people's choices. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Like, your kids would be better behaved if they went to bed before midnight is not something you need to offer. Right. But if they're keeping your kids up, it is your business.
My children, I need my kids to go to bed at 9 p.m. I think you got to keep it on your side of the fence. But like, oh, God, your children never seem to eat vegetables. Not welcome. Keep it to yourself.
So the first person you probably need to talk about all of this ahead of time. This is from Katie. Our listeners on our Facebook group had some excellent ideas around this. So I'll link to the original post because it's great. Katie said that the first person you have to sidebar with before you go is your parenting partner. If you have a parenting partner that you're entering into this with. Obvious, but yes, do it. Do it. Sit down and talk about it. And I loved this advice. Katie said, have a conversation in advance about which relatives on the trip can supervise the kids that you're bringing on the trip and which relatives are entertainment but are not supervision. Like, if grandma is not really capable of watching the kids while you go out to dinner anymore, but she is capable of hanging out with your kids and coloring while you make dinner, that's a conversation you and your parenting partner need to be on the same page about before you ever get to the share house.
Yes.
For sure.
And I have a tip about this. When my kids were little and not water safe, when we went to any water-based or really any activity, even at a amusement park or something, I got one of those plastic bracelets, rubber bracelets, that for every cause.
Yes, yes. You've told us about this, right? And you wear the bracelet.
If you are in charge of the child, you wear the bracelet. And you might get one for each of your children. And because what I find happens often on the extended family vacation, or anytime there's 10 people in charge of the kids, that if I have an 18-month-old who's not water safe, that's a very different watching job than like, count the kids' heads every 10 minutes in the pool or something like that. And there was no lifeguards at the pool we happened to be at. And so I was very strict about like, if you are wearing this bracelet, when I hand it to you, until I take it off of you, you are in charge of this water unsafe child. Because what I don't want is I yell over to the bar, like, hey, someone watch the kid in the pool, it's not safe enough for me.
Yeah. No, I've been in that situation with kids falling in the pool and kind of nobody's watching. But you can't show up with bracelets at the, family event and start handing them out. But you can do this with your parenting partner ahead of time, or maybe even with your sister ahead of time. Like, hey, would you like to do this thing with me? Right? Like, this is definitely an opt-in, not in the moment thing. Or are you saying it is? So you show up?
Yeah, for sure. And I have showed up and just said, here's how we're going to handle this. So like, if I give you this bracelet, it means you're in charge of the kids. And it also kind of, this wasn't really relevant in my situation, but like, it would also help with the thing of, I'm not going to hand it to like the guy who's had 10 margaritas already, like, I think it helps.
Well, so there is one time I can remember we were on a family vacation, lots of little cousins around, shared house, and it wasn't the pool. The pool we had a gate around, but the one thing we didn't think of is like, they're all here, the kids are fine, kind of nobody needs to be watching them. A couple of kids ended up in the driveway, got in a car to play, and then couldn't get out with the windows up on a sunny day. And they were in there for like 20, 30 minutes, panicking and trying to get out before they thought to start beeping the horn, at which point, somebody eventually, it was okay. It could have gone another way.
Scary, really scary.
Yeah, you do need to be intentional on these trips where there's like, 5 kids under 8. Somebody needs to be on duty instead of kind of everybody's always doing it. And that requires a system of some sort and then the system needs to be in charge, not you, not like, 5 o'clock, it's Jason's turn to wear the bracelet. You know what I mean? But there's a system that you agree on, but it needs to be deliberate. It can't just be, it'll be fine.
I think that's right. And I think that the other thing that will happen otherwise is that one can become the default by simply being like the person who's most worried. And that ruins the vacation. Like the thing of, we've talked about this before, like, oh, why is Amy so uptight that she can't even relax at the party? Because everyone else is drunk and there's 5 kids under 5. And, I don't want to be at a party where my kid gets hurt, and I don't want to be at a party where any kid gets hurt. So if we're all on a boat and like the kids don't have life vests on, I am going to ruin the party by being like, we're not going, or this doesn't make sense to me. And I do think that before you go on the boat, some of this has to be done kind of on the fly because events come up. But I will say I'm not comfortable with any kid being on a boat without a life preserver on, period, end of story. And I'm not going to be on a boat where there's kids without life preservers, and my kids are not going on a boat without life preservers on. And I think sometimes you have to make kind of uncomfortable stands, but I think when you come at it from the point of view of like, this is my comfort level, this is what I would like to see, you can kind of start a conversation that's not an attack on somebody else.
And the boundary is, this is what feels right for us, so we can't go on that trip. My kids can't go unless there's life preservers. That's not saying nobody's kids can go, but you're setting something that works for your family. And hopefully you and your parenting partner ahead of time are like, same team, same team. If you think it's probably fine that they go without a life preserver, we don't have that conversation in front of the kids or in front of our brothers-in-law. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it can be tricky if where it starts to get tricky is, it's okay for your kids not to wear life preservers. It's not okay for mine. Why does he have to wear? It becomes like the theme of the trip becomes a lot of talk about who is and isn't wearing life preservers. And so I don't know. It's tricky. You can't make overall statements. I try to work from like place of maximum generosity, like that safety first. But then I can think of an example where it's like, we actually do want to have some fun. Like it can be hard to balance everybody's needs and wants because there are people who are too protective and it's like, well, we actually do want to just like hike up the hill and we don't think it's dangerous. It's hard to make blanket statements about it, I guess.
Caitlin says, this is kind of related, anticipate conflict between the people on the trip who prefer a looser schedule and those who are on a nap schedule. Caitlin says, I was told to take a chill pill. And this is another version of what you're saying. Like, so the baby needs to be in her crib for a nap or we're all going to pay. And then you get to make, to take a chill pill. It can be difficult to be the one who is doing the forethought in these situations and then being told to relax when if the baby doesn't nap in her crib, you can't enjoy dinner tonight because she's going to cry and you're going to have to walk her outside till she falls asleep. Like, it's frustrating to be told that you're uptight for thinking ahead, but sometimes you just got to talk about that ahead of time, I guess, and be like, this is what we're going to need. Sorry if it's inconvenient.
And the reality is there are super competing interests, right? Because I've been the person with the baby and I've been the person with like the 3 kids who are 8, 9, and 11 who on a rainy day are not going to be silent for 2.5 hours during your baby's nap time. Like, we have actually competing interests. And I think that you have to, I think I do have a take on it. Let's take a break and we're going to come back.
Hellions, it's time for some spring cleaning, and I don't just mean the coat closets. Doing your financial spring cleaning can actually be super easy when you let Monarch do your financial spring cleaning for you. One dashboard that gets your entire financial life organized. No more clutter, no more mess, no more logins scattered everywhere, just accounts, investments, property, and more, all in one place. Get your first year of Monarch for half off, just $50 with promo code FRESH. Monarch allows you to look not only at what you've already spent, but also to plan for the future. With Monarch, you can set savings goals, plan for big purchases, and notice spending trends before they become a problem.
I can generate cash flow reports that show me what we spent this quarter, this month, what we're probably going to spend next month, and feel prepared, organized, and knowing how to plan for the future.
No more surprises and a lot more clarity. Try Monarch. Use code FRESH at monarch.com to get your first year half off at just $50. That's 50% off your first year at monarch.com with code FRESH.
My favorite skincare products actually feel more like self-care, like they're so nice to put on and they smell so good that I'm actually happy when I get to that part of my day. And I swear that is how I feel about Osea's anti-aging body balm.
Amy, you are usually the lotions and potions queen on this podcast, but I have to say, hard agree.
Osea's anti-aging body balm is a liquid silk body balm that combines the lasting hydration of a lotion with the firming power of a serum, leaving skin smoother and firmer.
This body balm is clinically tested and designed to deliver visible results you can see and feel.
So we've gotten to use this product for a couple of months now, and I swear I have really noticed firmer and smoother skin, like on the back of my hands. It's like getting a mini spa treatment from head to toe.
Get a spring-worthy glow with clean, clinically tested skincare from Osea. And right now, we have a special discount just for our listeners.
Get 10% off your first order site-wide with code FRESH at OseaMalibu.com.
That's 10% off your first order with code FRESH at OSEAMalibu.com. I think part of the challenge is that you have to realize that things on vacation are really not going to operate the same way as things operate at home. You know, like the baby is not going to get a 3-hour nap and the kids are going to eat probably later than you do at home.
And the grown-ups aren't going to eat at 8. Right? And the grown-ups who are like, but we always eat at 8. Like, well, not on this trip, you're not, because the grandchildren are here. You know, that everybody's going to have to compromise, not just you.
Right. Or the grandchildren maybe get chicken nuggets at 6 and the adults eat at 8. Like, and I think that biggest thing I would say about vacationing with extended family is hold things lightly in terms of like things are going to go wrong. It's part of like what you're modeling for your kids. It's like we do things a little bit differently because of how much we value this time with extended family. And I think another big mistake that people make on family vacations is it's all about spending every minute together. And like that doesn't work. Like, okay, so would it be possible at nap time for the bigger kids? Like that's a good time to take them to the pool if we want quiet for this hour. But if it's raining, that's going to mess up the baby's nap because the kids can't be silent while the baby naps if you have a silent household. Like I think that things are going to get lost during the course of the vacation that are part of your normal daily routine.
So the planning separate time was an entire category of advice that people gave for this. Emily said, communicate expectations before the trip. Agree that it can still be a great group trip without everyone doing everything together all the time. Emily suggests maybe everybody comes together for one big meal a day. This is what we tend to do. Like dinner is going to be at 6 and this person's in charge tonight or this family's in charge tonight. Keep it looser about who's participating in what for the rest of the activities. Anna said, you can plan something you want to do. You can put it out there. Like, hey, tomorrow, Jimmy and I are going to get up and we're going to go on a hike, probably about 8:30. We're going to go leave before it gets too hot. If anybody wants to come, we'll be outside at 8:30 and we're going to go. And then leave at 35, and there's no expectation and you hold it lightly and there's no forced march on a hike that with kids saying they're hot who didn't want to come. They don't have to go.
Right. And I think holding lightly also has to do with I'm fairly strict at home about my kids' bedtimes and to some degree eating. And I just let go of those things on vacation. My kids often stay up until after midnight when they're with their cousins and they love to hang out. And, for them, I think it feels very crazy to be like up past midnight on the trampoline with my cousins. And are they more nightmarish and they get sick and stuff? They do. And I just build that into the formula, or I just kind of accept it in advance. And
yeah, but I'm speaking for the 18-month-old who's going to get up at 5:30 a.m., whether she goes to bed at 7 or goes to bed at 10:30 because it's fun. And what do you mean? And, that is because you're holding the bag. That's what I'm here to hold the line for. If you're the one who's going to have to be up with the cranky kid or miss dinner because of the cranky kid, then you have a right to say, this isn't how it's going to be.
But what is the solution? It's to take the baby. You have to, I think, then plan to have a quiet space to take the baby.
It's planning. Ella says, give everyone a sense of your daily rhythm. Can you tell I've also been told to take a chill pill when I use routine or schedule? She said, tell them ahead of time so that the early risers aren't shocked, or the night owls, or the people who haven't parented lately. Like, this is how it goes. Or if we're serving dinner at 8, you guys can't come back from the bar at 9:15. The kids' dinner's gone. We served dinner and the kids ate it all. I'm really sorry. That there is a schedule for people who aren't used to being on a schedule. And it's not a schedule that everybody has to adhere to, but the couple with the baby has to adhere to it. I think that's reasonable. You can't just be like, it'll be fine, because it won't be. What those people don't understand is that your kid's not going to sleep until 11 the next morning like theirs will.
Right. I think it's thinking of like how the space is laid out. That's right. Making plans for it. Because I think that the conflict sometimes comes, and I've been on both sides of this, from I think young babies who are on a sleep schedule, you have to make really good decisions about where
where that baby is. Yeah.
That is, because I do think that everyone has to work around an 18-month-old on vacation. I see why that's frustrating to people as well. And so I think it's like, you have to solve your own problems, I think, to some degree on this. Like, okay, this bedroom that is near the playroom is not a good bedroom for us with the 18-month-old. Like, we need to, I think the conflict often comes with people feel like the person with the baby is like, this is the first baby that's ever been born. And we have to, now becomes a 20-person vacation dedicated to the care and service of an 18-month-old, which I understand why is frustrating to the group. But at the same time, chill out, your baby, just go with the flow is not possible when you have an 18-month-old. So I think you're right to say that all of those decisions happen before the fight ever happens, basically, in terms of what gets the 18-month-old the most sleep while letting people feel like they're on a vacation and can relax.
So let's talk about divvying up responsibilities, because most people seem to think that some sort of discussion of that ahead of time, some sort of Google Doc spreadsheet, handwritten thing is in order for planning meals for an extended group of people. Do you do this when you travel with your extended family? We do, but it's 25 people. At some point, it's this isn't funny anymore. And one person can't, or even 3 people can't possibly do the cooking and cleaning and planning and shopping for 25 people every night, unless that's a paid staff that you're having as part of your vacation experience.
We don't have a staff.
We did do that once. All of us went to a villa that had a cook who would cook for you and a staff. It was incredible. It was the best vacation ever. Just be like, lunch is ready.
So I think what we're landing on is get a staff. But if that's not available to you,
barring that, a Google spreadsheet. So we do a Google spreadsheet. And, guess who starts the Google spreadsheet? Yes, it's me. I start the Google spreadsheet. But it's the same one as last year. I'm like, here, it's a version for 2024. And everybody during this 5 or 6 days we spend together get a lunch and a dinner, and they can pick when it is. And you can cater it from the pizza place if you want, or the barbecue place, or you can, bring frozen lasagnas. You can do whatever you want, but you sort of...
Yeah, you're in charge.
You grab it. And what's good about grabbing it ahead of time is that you call lasagna, you call pasta night, whatever. And now it's like, oh, darn it, they already picked a pasta night. So now I have to come up with Mexican night or whatever. But there's a benefit to going in early. And then you stay out of it, right? Then it's like, if anybody needs anything, you let me know. If you're the one, if it's happening in your town, try to stay out of it as much as possible. I find like that's very useful. And again, like if you're the one with a vegetarian kid, if you're the kid who's gluten-free, you kind of have to hope people think of it and make sure your kid has what they need when your cousin thinks that turkey lasagna is vegetarian. You know, that stuff happens all the time.
Right. Yeah, we tend to go, we roll a little bit in terms of like, and we have 20 at one of them. I feel like we do a lot of, we don't cook a ton, and everybody kind of likes to cook. So it tends to be a little bit of a fight for the nights that, I mean, my brother-in-law is a cook. My sister-in-law is an amazing cook and she just puts together like, she's got a crazy little like catering thing, and she puts together like tacos and whatever. Everybody's pretty good about cleaning up and stuff. I think that the spreadsheet probably works. I'm talking about like nuclear families. I think, I mean, you get like cousins and other stuff involved and people with different styles. It might be easier to do on the spreadsheet and plan ahead. I think whenever there's conflict, go back to more planning. That's what I think.
Right. The system. Laura says, I wanted to highlight this because I think it's common, but I think it's a little bit of a trap. Laura says, plan out meals ahead of time. My mom and aunts do a really good job of this on family trips when we share a house. It shouldn't be on the mom and the aunts or the you to do all of the meal planning. And, you know, don't let that happen. We try to make it's this household that's in charge of lunch and dinner. And I don't care if the teenager does it or the dad does it or the mom or all three. But it shouldn't be, okay, now all the ladies decide what we're having for dinner every night. If that's happening in your house, it's an opportunity to revisit that and maybe reassign some of the duties. You do the cooking, but your brother and your cousin go do the shopping then.
Right. I think that's right. And giving voice to that. I'm realizing we go to the same place. We have one that happens in Florida, one that happens in Texas, one that happens also in Texas, but at the lake. And I feel like there are such set things that everybody wants there that it's like, oh, okay, we're going to have this night and that night because we repeat the same locations. I think that does make it easier than like we're all going on vacation to a new place. Because in Florida, we got to have an Outbacks night. We're going to have a night where we do the grill. We got to have the night. We just have very set. And so if we're there for 7 days, sometimes it's hard to fit in like our 7 favorite things that we do when we're in Florida. And that's different than like, let's go to different places.
What about expenses? This seems to me to be a little bit of a third rail, but again, that's why you put a system around it, because then the Google spreadsheet reflects the expenses, how much people are spending on what, not, your own resentment. Anna says she starts a spreadsheet so everyone on the trip adds up what they spend on shared groceries, meals, activities as we go along, and then they settle up at the end of the vacation.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. And I think it's fraught. I mean, there's a reason why this is hard. It's all really fraught, like because you're coming in with everybody is walking in being like, here comes the lazy one. Here comes the uptight one. Here comes the one who always ruins the vacation by fighting with her husband. Mm-hmm. Here comes the poor one who never puts in. Oh, she's rich. Why doesn't she contribute more? Like there are so many expectations that come into the space. And then of course, everything seems to be like, oh, there she goes, being lazy again because she's the lazy one. And it's like there are just time bombs all over the place. So I do think that neutral systems in the way that we say, like the lady tells you to leave the park when the phone alarm goes off, the phone alarm is telling you, the spreadsheet is telling you this. It's not uptight cousin Maureen who's telling you this. It's the spreadsheet.
On the other hand, just take the flip side of that. Emily says, know when to step back and let the aunt take over. It doesn't matter who arranged things. Everybody has an aunt who is just used to running things. And sometimes the best thing to do after she announces her meal schedule or whatever is to just let her. I mean, if everybody's good with that, including the aunt, then I guess that is okay sometimes. You don't have to create a system when the system of the aunt does everything is working fine. But I would circle that and underline that and maybe ask the aunt about that.
Yeah, I guess. Although
do so much.
Yeah, I guess that's right. But at the same time, like right. I think sometimes people feel better to be in charge of everything. It helps them worry less and like let them. I find that even with my mother, who's a therapist, used to say this, like even with passive aggressive behavior, you kind of have to take behavior as it comes in. So it's like if you're running everything and I've asked 3 times what I can do to help and you've said absolutely nothing, I'm going to go relax. Like I've offered to help, but I'm not going to go in and be like, is this really okay? Like, it's like everyone's got to run their own show to a certain degree, I think.
I have done hosting of extended family where I did 100% of the shopping, prepping, cooking, clean up, let me do a dish for you. But I never left the kitchen. And it took, again, I think this is a conversation that happens outside of the moment. It took my sister-in-law, a new addition to the family, to say, hey, I noticed last time we did this that you were in charge of every meal. That seems nuts to me. Why don't we start a spreadsheet? And I said that, that'd be great. But when you're talking to me when I'm like up to my elbows in walking tacos, I'm like, I'm fine, I'm good. Right. Like go find the kids. Right. But when you can talk about it in a neutral moment, yeah, sure. I'd love to do things differently. You mean we can do things differently? I think it's just not a discussion you can have in the moment.
Makes a lot of sense. I have another thought about that. We'll be right back. Amy, when I'm having a good hair day, it usually makes my whole day better. And that's why on every day, I'm taking Nutrafol.
Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist-recommended hair growth supplement brand. And it's the #1 hair growth supplement brand personally used by dermatologists. Nutrafol's hair growth supplements are peer-reviewed, NSF certified for sport, and clinically tested.
Nutrafol offers multiple formulas for men and women tailored to different life stages and lifestyle factors, so you get support that's actually right for you. Adding Nutrafol to your daily routine is easy. Order online, no prescription needed, with automated deliveries and free shipping to keep you on track.
Let your hair be one less thing to worry about. See visibly thicker, stronger, faster-growing hair in 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol.
For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you visit Nutrafol.com and enter promo code LAUGHING.
That's Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code LAUGHING.
All my kids learned to swim when they were little. It was super important to me that they be confident and safe in the water. There was only one problem with that: taking them to swim lessons. I mean, the pools were freezing. There were always cranky adults doing laps right there. And it was definitely not, for any of us, what you would call fun.
Amy, heard. But now there's Goldfish Swim School. Goldfish takes a really thoughtful approach to swim lessons, combining research-based teaching with a warm, kid-friendly environment that actually helps kids thrive in the water.
Every detail at Goldfish is thoughtfully designed to create a golden experience, from shiver-free, warm indoor pools to comfy waiting areas for parents to professionally trained lifeguards on deck.
Goldfish uses an approach called the science of swim play, which combines guided play with proven teaching techniques to help kids learn to swim, build water safety skills, and gain confidence, all at their own pace. Lessons are designed to meet kids exactly where they're at.
If you've been thinking about swim lessons or just wondering where to start, this is a great opportunity. Right now, Goldfish Swim School is offering a waived membership plus your child's first lesson free at participating locations.
Just visit goldfishswimschool.com/free to find a location near you and enroll using promo code FREE.
That's goldfishswimschool.com/free, promo code FREE.
And now, things you will hear on vacation with your extended family.
From the What Fresh Hell podcast.
You're going to the gym? I thought this was a family vacation. We do things together as a family.
Oh, look, somebody left dishes in the sink. Oh, look, here I am doing the dishes. The only one who ever does the dishes.
Wait a minute. Who put family hike to Mount Graham on the schedule? I did not agree to hike.
If we are going to keep score during charades, I do not want 3 5-year-olds on my team.
Put your wine coolers in a Stanley cup. Grandma doesn't know we drink.
Why am I in a condo with a baby? I already put in my time with my own babies. I come on vacation to sleep.
Listen, we all heard Stacy and Bob's blowout drunken argument on the lanai last night, but at breakfast, we are all going to pretend that nothing happened.
Oh, we forgot the birthday cards for Aunt Joan. Quick, have the kids make a banner so it looks like somebody remembered.
I thought we agreed we weren't going to talk politics.
Well, I think you are charming. I have no idea why Cousin Carol says you're stuck up. I don't see it at all.
Oh, God, it's Phil's turn to cook tonight. Hope everybody likes cheeseburger surprise.
Why did we agree to this again this year? It's only Tuesday?
This has been Things You Will Hear on Vacation with Extended Family.
From the What Fresh Hell podcast.
So before the break, we were talking about communication. And I think one piece of this communication is whether or not extended family vacations are the default and whether or not you want to participate in them. Like, that's part of the discussion, because I think for my family, we tend, because we're far away from family, to do all of our breaks with members of our family. And at a certain point, my husband and I kind of realized, like, we don't spend any time vacationing, the two of us, and we don't spend a lot of time vacationing with just our family. And we kind of made a little correction around that. Like, we do want to spend some time with we don't want every single time we take a break and a vacation to necessarily be a long extended trip with family, despite the fact that we love and adore our family and our extended trips with them. Lynetta Willis, right? Dr. Willis talks about stable misery. Like, be careful that these vacations are not just stable misery for you. Like, you can actually make different choices. You can go for a shorter period of time. Like, you do it because it's supposed to be fun, basically.
This takes the honest conversation. We go to the Jersey Shore every year because that's what we do. We go to the Jersey Shore and you're like, I don't want to do this anymore. It's worth questioning that if the way you do things every year is the way you have to keep doing things. We just did this in my family. We tend to do the same thing every year. And we had a discussion that I tried to make a really open one to this large group of people. We don't have to do this again. We can do something else. And then everybody kind of agreed. We have some big birthdays coming up next year, summer 2025. So we said, let's do the default for 2024 and we'll try something new and big for 2025. But at least we had the conversation. I think it's important to not assume that the couple with the 3-year-old and the 1-year-old want to make the 5-hour drive that includes a ferry again this summer. Yeah. Ask the question.
And vacationing with any 20 people, you could pick them out of the phone book. It's going to be annoying to some degree. Like, 20 people are not all going to get along perfectly. And I think that it's part of the deal to choose it, and to say, and I do think it's very important to model for your children that, like, there are people in our lives that we celebrate with on a regular basis. And as I get older, one of the things I admire about my extended family is how well that was modeled to me and, like, what valuable relationships have come out of it. But you have to kind of put a fine point on it, because otherwise it just becomes like, we get together so I can talk about how annoying Cousin Bob's wife is. Like, that, why are we doing this?
Stacy has some really good advice around this. She says you have to take time with your nuclear family as needed. Make sure you're doing that. Go for a walk, just you, so that even within this family vacation, you have that time. But here's the truth bomb from Stacy. Know that not everyone is a good traveling companion, no matter how much you love them. And vacations are meant to be enjoyed. So you don't have to love every moment with Uncle Bob if Uncle Bob is impossible. You do have to maybe tolerate family dinners, but you don't have to go birding with Uncle Bob if your kids want to be at the pool.
You definitely don't. And I do think that, I said it in the beginning, but I do think this is a place where we are called on, if it is an important value in your family, to interact with extended family. It is a place where we are called to our place of maximum generosity writ large, which means both making it work for yourself, setting whatever boundaries. Doesn't mean you have to go be a doormat. Doesn't mean you have to go be abused. But in choosing to participate in extended family, it does come with, and I think it's difficult. I think I've cited this before, but in her book, Glennon Doyle talks about, I think it's Maya Angelou, going to somewhere where nobody's walking on the rug. And she's like, she assumes it's because people think that they're not good enough to walk on the rug. Just so to show that she doesn't believe in this stupid hierarchy that everyone has established, she walks all over the rug, and then they have to clear the rug and bring in a new rug, and then they serve the food on the rug. And it's like she just came in so hot to be like, and Glennon Doyle says like, this is how I approach my in-laws in the beginning. And I realized that like I came in and everything was like, I can teach you how to do it better. Look at how dumb the way you do things is. And like, your traditions are stupid and the way you treat each other is wrong. And that I do think that you have to go into these situations with a certain degree of grace. And it is fine to go afterwards and call your sister and be like, everything that everybody does is crazy to me. But I think that if you go in to be like, well, this is a stupid time to eat and this, but like, I would try to let that go. It's not going to make the vacation go better for anybody.
I think it's that you have to choose your non-negotiables and you need to be able to count them on fewer than 3 fingers.
Oh, that is good advice.
So you need to have 3 non-negotiables. You need to be able to count them like on fewer than 3 fingers. And that's probably per family. So say when I travel with my family, my spouse is a super healthy eater. I know that he's not going to want lasagna and then pasta and then pizza and then grilled cheese, and it's not going to be what food he wants. So we prepare for that. We talk about that ahead of time, and then I make sure there's something that he's going to be willing to eat, and then he's in charge of grilling that or preparing that if what's for dinner is not. And we talk about that ahead of time. The baby that needs to be in the crib for her nap time. That's your non-negotiable, and that's what's going to happen. And then you can be totally loosey-goosey about, is the food healthy and is the beer the kind that you like, right? Your non-negotiable, you talk about it with your parenting partner ahead of time, that your kid who is on the spectrum is going to need some time to, to download on their own and be away from stuff and kind of recharge. That's a non-negotiable. The kids are loud is not really something that you can demand change around. It has to be really specific.
Or your non-negotiable is clear enough that like, we're not going to stay in the main house. We found a great little hotel down the road, and like, that's better for us because then we can manage the baby the way that works for us. Like whatever your non-negotiables are, I think that's right. If you have a small, clear number of them, you make the vacation work for you and then you participate in everything else, but it doesn't become a constant negotiation of like, actually, we don't want this food. Actually, our baby needs this. Actually, my kid wants. It's that you kind of know your non-negotiables and you figure out how that's going to work in this context.
And you start with your parenting partner about your immediate family. And then maybe you have the discussion. Oh, hey, I was hoping one night that we could... I was really hoping for a date night because I have dates with my husband 4 times a year because we don't have any babysitting when we live. So I was really hoping that one night we could do that. And then the next night I'm happy to listen for your baby and you go out. That's a non-negotiable for you. Then you can come with the problem and the solution. There's not enough alone time for you on this trip, right? Here's an idea. How about we all give each other alone time on this trip? And I can't imagine anybody would say, no, thank you.
Yes, except for maybe the person who's like, but I thought we were all going to spend all of our time together. There's always something. There's always something when traveling with extended family. But we solved it, Amy.
Well, I wanted to give you this takeaway from Leslie. Leslie says, go into the vacation knowing that things will be hard, comments will be made, and people will get on your nerves. But if you have each other's backs, you'll at least be set up for some success. Parenting on vacation is hard enough. Parenting with an audience is even harder.
#agree.
Yeah, well said, Leslie.
#full agree. And here we go. Here comes summer and here come extended family vacations. I'm looking forward to mine. I really am.
It's absolutely, it's worth it. It's worth all the planning.
Absolutely worth it. So much fun.
Did you know that we have a YouTube channel where you can watch us recording this show? You can also watch little clips and videos. You can subscribe and follow, and we would really love you to do that. We're trying to get to 1,000 followers on YouTube. Some say we're crazy. We're going to do it. Watch this space. We just want to.
So who says we're crazy? We can definitely do it. Search for What Fresh Hell Podcast on YouTube, and you will find us there to subscribe. And with that, thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.
So long.